Introducing Universe Raptorize, a new addition to Universe's powerful set of tools for editing and motion design. With Universe Raptorize, you can easily turn your footage of Tom Cruise into footage of a velociraptor in seconds. Whether engaged in an intimate moment between two characters or scaling the world's tallest building, with powerful facial performance matching, customizable textures, controls over evolution, and hair length, Tom Cruise will never not be a velociraptor again. Now we know what you're thinking. In the wrong hands, couldn't a tool this powerful be used to spread misinformation? We thought so too, and that's why we built Universe Raptorize with our patented cruise control engine, allowing Universe Raptorize to intelligently detect if it's being applied to footage of anyone other than Tom Cruise. If so, the police in your jurisdiction are notified so they can arrest you. Once you try Universe Raptorize, you'll be saying, Universe Raptorize. Welcome back to another show. Our show, and it's not called VFX Royale. I should probably fix that.
It's true. You're watching VFX and Chill, a live weekly talk show where Seth Worley and me, Daniel Hashimoto, sometimes break down visual effects from our favorite movies and TV shows, along with a super helpful help of our wonderful knowledge base in residence, Michael Zalapsky.
Woo!
Michael!
Hello.
Well, everybody, this is a very exciting day today. First off, brand new product launch.
Red Giant, big release day.
Big release day.
Universe Raptorize, yes.
Very cool. We might get into it a little bit today, but our priority today, we're very, very excited. Well, first off, actually, Hashi, let's get into your personal life without your permission. Where are you right now?
I am, and shout out to my mother-in-law, Sarah. Woo. I am broadcasting to you from my permanent house.
Permanent house!
Yay, permanent house. Hashi is no longer homeless.
This is the 26th place that I have stayed at since October. And I'm not moving again, ever. I'm not leaving this room, the house, or anything. Little echo in here, as it's very fresh. Literally the only stick of furniture in the whole place is a table I had to assemble so I could do this show. And it was a real nail biter. I got my lunch here. I'm gonna, it was ridiculous. I was plugging in wires to things, shutting off pipes.
Buddy, this has been a 6-7 month experience and journey for you, and I'm very happy for you and excited for you, and really, really hope that the next couple weeks for you are nothing like how I would write it if I were writing it as a movie, which is where it would now go into the money pit sequence of the film, where the house that you purchased would fall apart as we would broadcast
just
the show.
Stick with it. We would be if the money pit. If Tom Hanks had to move to 26 places before that, I think you'd have settled. But yes, so obviously I sound different maybe with the echoiness of this room, but it may not have been that different to you guys watching the show because the show is, framed a certain way. We're all just in our little boxes. And so all the changes that I was going through were very invisible to the audience. They weren't very apparent because the final product was very understandable.
That's a amazing segue.
God,
Hashi.
that segue.
That's
folks,
stunning.
Folks, you just witnessed art history in that segue that Hashi just gave. We're talking today about invisible visual effects from West Side Story.
Because a lot of people complain about visual effects in modern Hollywood without even realizing that they've watched films that have it in it. A lot of movies that are like regular dramas that aren't big sci-fi pieces have tons of visual effects that you don't see, whether it's adding a set extension to make a historical location feel more realistic or just to add a bit of flavor to a scene. There are hidden visual effects all over some of your favorite Hollywood films.
Absolutely. And West Side Story is no exception. This is a film that has a whole lot of invisible effects, like set extensions and wire removals and stuff. And we're going to be
that stuff is boring. I mean, everyone knows set extensions are used extensively, so we're going to skip over that kind of stuff.
We are. Well, I mean, honestly, I may not skip over it because here's the deal. Let's dive right into stuff that we might learn. Obviously, there's set extensions, wire rig removal. That's on our list. Also, lighting changes. Like a lot of folks don't realize. Like a lot of lighting decisions are nowadays actually made in post.
Yeah. And sky replacements should probably be on that list.
Probably should be.
Absolutely, yeah. You haven't seen a real sky in a big budget movie for.
It's so true.
Ever.
It's so true. Cameras can't see them now. Actually.
No.
Now, face replacement, this is the one that's really exciting today because a lot of people don't realize, when you have a whole chorus of the whole scene's filled with dancers and such, a lot of times or even smaller scenes with a couple people on screen, but perhaps there might be some move or some stunt that the actor may need a dance double or stunt double to do, and so they'll have to, in post, put the actor's face back onto that double. But interestingly, we're going to get into that, but the thing I found most fascinating about West Side Story was finding out, Hashi, you're the one who told me this.
Well, I had to find out from Ian Fales because there's a large PR campaign to not even talk about this, which is kind of unusual. I mean, they're trying to talk about, return of classic cinema, big, beautiful sets, large numbers, that kind of stuff, but they're really undercutting and barely talking about the visual effect work done on this. It's something that happens over and over again in the press. It kind of depresses me.
Yeah. I kind of didn't believe this when you first told me, and I still don't know if I do, but apparently Baby Driver here, I forget his name. It's not relevant. It won't come up again. He was not present on the set when they shot this film.
Isn't that incredible?
He looks like he's right there. Look
at the lens flares. Look at the interaction, the lighting, cameras moving. Spielberg barely holds his camera still.
Look at her performance. That's an amazing performance that she is giving to. What was it, Hashi? Who was standing in?
Well, it was another actor. You've heard of him, but I think that he was worried that his presence would overshadow the actual story here. And of course, we are talking about our lovable, our favorite actor, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise originally played Baby Driver in West Side Story. A very straightforward sentence I just said that's not confusing in the least.
Absolutely. And we got some of the plates from Ian from beforeandafters.com. Is that what you have stitched together here?
Actually, he wasn't able to give us the plates. I love that we have just brought Ian into this narrative against his will. I could not get a hold of the actual original plates. So what I've done is I have gone in and just I found the paintouts. That's what Ian gave us, was these scenes where where Baby Driver would be replaced with a Raptor, or a Raptor would be replaced with a Baby Driver, as naturally happens. And so I've got those elements. I've got the foreground and background elements, and so I figured we would try to restore it to its original. Basically, we're doing film. We're serving film history here. We're going to be doing some film restoration here and restoring Steven Spielberg's West Side Story to its original cut, its original intended form, which was starring a Velociraptor.
Bring back the
Tony.
Raptor cut.
Yeah, we're releasing the Raptor cut, unleashing the Raptor cut.
We are, and you all know that the hero actor who played the Velociraptor in the original Jurassic Park movies passed away several years ago. It was announced in The Onion. Very sad day, but
reliable publication.
The actor who plays Blue, she is very versatile and embodied exactly what this story needed, and understandably so, because as a Velociraptor living in the modern world, if people see you, they're going to cross the street. They might. They'll judge you a lot on your appearance as a Velociraptor in their public space. And so I think that the story of two worlds kind of colliding because of people not seeing eye to eye was really a natural fit for this. And so, but yeah, it's sad that this doesn't exist. So I think that, Seth, we should dive in and try to, honor the spirit of what this movie was all about.
Absolutely. Honor the spirit of Tom Cruise. May he rest in peace. So let's jump in. I mean, do we want to distribute like clips? Like who?
That sounds good. Why don't we go through? So we have this beautiful set of scenes, all set up to be raptorized. You all saw at the top of our show the wonderful new product by Universe, Raptorize. And
we can't use it today, though, unfortunately. Because it's not footage of Tom Cruise. We would go to prison if we used Raptorize on any of this footage. So while we will try and show you Raptorize being used here, although I guess maybe, I don't know, we could use
it's possible that we could deep fake Baby Driver into Tom Cruise. I have not done extensive beta testing on whether or not that would fool the cruise control algorithm. So a couple of things that might occur today. Well, I think we have a work cut out for us, Seth. And if any of you have seen the product Raptorize, you'll be able to do this with any footage of choice of yours featuring Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we couldn't get those plates. So, if you want, feel free to, I'm not recommending you all tweet our ad at Tom Cruise to get his attention.
Absolutely
that would be
not. No, we would never ask that of you. We would never.
Definitely not tweet the Raptorize promo video at Tom Cruise. No. Do not do that.
I've got the cut here with Baby Driver gone. I also went ahead and took the liberty of.
People have to know who did this restoration.
This was just delivered in the package that was sent over to us from 20th Century Films.
That is so kind of them.
I know. I'm not sure if that was Spielberg's original vision or not, but anyway, why don't I just play with audio this trailer without Baby Driver, knowing that we're going to be putting a Raptor here.
This is my first time in New York City. I want to be happy here.
Tonight is about family. The first gringo boy who smiles at you.
I never seen you before. You're not Puerto Rican.
Is that okay?
Do you want to start World War III? Who cares if he's I don't know what he is.
You keep away from him as long as you're in my house.
I'm a grown-up now, Bernardo. I'm gonna think for myself.
Tony, we need you if we're going to war.
If you go with him, no one will ever forgive you.
Who are you? Friend or foe?
Oh, I haven't gotten to that one yet. All right. And with that, John Williams transition, we get to work. I'm going to jump over to AE, hoping that my scene is actually properly set up because I haven't checked it. Is that
lovely?
Yeah, I did it right. Hooray. All right.
Beautiful. All right. So, Seth, I have imported over here on my side all of this, the footage and all the plates that we were able to prep. Now, I don't remember, is that pretty much all except for that kiss are prepped?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Goodness gracious.
Now,
these two work so hard for this show.
Hashi, you did the majority of the prep. I just fixed it when I took your entire trailer cut that you did and redid it like a perfectionist a-hole.
But improved it, and that's the bottom line.
But I'm working from your original prep work, which was pretty amazing. So teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Insert GIF of basketball players high-fiving. 3 specifically. So yeah, we've got backgrounds, we've got foregrounds, and we've got, most importantly, we've got suits and clothes able to place the Raptor behind. And Hashi, I would love to know your process because you had this one shot.
I did. Was it shot 4?
Here's the original plate. I was very impressed with what you did here. You gave them extra space to work because that Raptor, he's got a long face.
He does have a long face, and we did this in a couple of our Mission Impossible trailer shots as well. But I may talk about the process of reframing a shot that was clearly composed for 2 human-sized characters. I mean, realistically, undoing the work probably that was created by artificially bringing these humans closer together. So, you know, basically it's undoing someone's hard work. But
that's what we do here on VFX and Chill. We roto on top of shots that other people have rotoed, and we de-evolve people's hard work.
Exactly. An evolutionary reset. All right, so I'm going to open up this shot, and I'll talk about that a little bit in the meantime. Seth, do you want to get started on anything, or do you want me to start talking about this shot?
Why don't you talk about that shot? Well, my stuff I'm doing is pretty straightforward, so I'm just gonna get started with shot 2 and kind of take it from there. I've got a couple shots I definitely want to try and do, but I'm gonna start with 2 and see how it looks, and just kind of keep going because you're doing a little bit more complex work over on your side.
All right, so let me start off with what was the original shot, which was right here. And you know what? I'm going to stretch out this so we don't need to see all this panel part. So this is the shot, and we have, that's not the full shot. Here's the full shot. So we have Tony and Maria very close, and our job is to replace this CG head with a realistic Raptor head that was there. But everybody knows, you know, Raptors have a long snout-like head. And so the framing of this kind of a shot but just isn't going to work without a little bit more control on the composition of this shot.
Right.
And
you need to see her face, and if there's a big Raptor snout in front of it, it's not going to work.
Precisely. So the first 2 steps I did were very straightforward and boring. First was just jumping into this plate, and I rotoed. Let me see if I can make this a little bit easier to see here. Let's go ahead and increment and save just so, you know, no accidents, everyone. All right.
Hashtag no accidents.
No accidents. Wait, I don't remember. Isn't there a shortcut to hop between your things? Is a tab over? No, that's to go.
What things you're trying to hop between?
I just want to hop to the end of this timeline here.
Oh, I will say, talking about shortcuts.
I don't know why I don't see my arrow to. Let's close a bunch of these, whatever.
While you figure that out, I do want to show, like, I've been messing around with my Stream Deck and creating After Effects shortcuts and things. So, for example, one that I'm constantly doing is saying, so if I type some text, my computer's going very slow right now for some reason. Let's try this again. text. And if I like to put that, I like to do, transform center anchor point to layer content and then center in view. But I can just go boop, boop, 2 buttons and it's done.
Ooh, beautiful. Streamdeck.com, everybody, or something.
I can also turn on my proportional grid. I can also turn on and off layer controls. Oh, God.
I think we lost them.
Oh, I'm back. We lost you, actually. Turns out turning off layer controls in After Effects kicks me out of Skype.
Well, it's because I'm technically classified as a layer control. I got my layer controller license when I joined Maxon, and
congratulations.
It gets confusing.
I know what that means.
Now, double checking on the stream here. I don't remember what our delay is. Are we there? Everyone good?
Yeah, we're good.
Lovely. Excellent. So, all right. So the very simple steps of this, we're jumping into this shot and isolating this coat using RotoBrush 2 and kind of leaving out the head. And so everyone can do that. Remember, the best practices for RotoBrush 2 are to use small individual strokes that correspond with each movement segment of your footage. You'll have a lot better results that way. So segment them, because it uses segmentation engines to drive its roto. I'm using the right terms here, I promise. So cut out this foreground character, and that unfortunately leaves us with this. Let's bring in our plate again so you can all see. Here's the plate. But when we punch out the hole, there's a lot of content that is not covered up. And so I used a real big cheat here, which was just scrolling through that trailer and seeing if there was any other time where they happened to show those bleachers before the characters walked in. And it turns out I was not disappointed, because there was a lovely shot that looked like about like this. Let me turn off my effects here. Oop, I've put some RotoBrush on it somehow. I just want to see the whole picture. Oh, yeah. So this moment right before he walked in was a pretty comparable angle. And so I ended up stealing that, pasting it here in front of everything, and just trying to find some little bolt or something like that I could track it to. And so I tried to feather it all the way across, including some of this lens flare, because lens flare plays a big role in the way the light plays between these characters. But now we see our last problem, which is that Maria becomes semi-transparent if my plate needs to go all the way up to here, because their heads get very close during this. So that would mean something pretty straightforward as well, which is that I would need to RotoBrush 2 Maria. But that introduced one additional problem, which was the original plate here. She's behind the character right here at the beginning of the shot. And so luckily, during the course of the shot, she does take a step back, and we get a pretty good reveal of her whole sleeve and arm that are hidden behind Tony right here. But Michael, what is Baby Driver's name? Because I feel so disrespectful at this point.
I think it's okay. He's been kind of soft canceled, to be honest. So we can just keep calling him Baby Driver.
Oh, yeah, Baby Driver. So Baby Driver's here. And I've pasted a still of Maria's shoulder right here and just tracked it right to about where the shoulder used to be. So now we have Maria. We have this background plate that she goes over, a nice kind of empty side of frame. And then, let's see, this is our background, right? So let me turn that off for a second.
I will say the actor's name gives Frigby Chillweather a run for the money in interesting name category.
But if he's not a cool dude.
No, apparently not.
Oh.
Ansel Elgort, but I'm fine with calling him Baby Driver the whole rest of the time, because Ansel Elgort is not easy to say. Mm-hmm. But thank you, Nick Smith. Yes, we know what we know what his name is.
So check out with this plate here, it actually gives me the ability, because the plate is wider than the shot is. And so instead of this original framing where she's getting really close to the centers because they're straddling the center right here, I can slide her a little bit more over like that. And so now when I get to my final comp, I actually have the option to just take the background layer and this Tony layer. Let me delete that. And now I can slide Tony in and out wherever a Velociraptor head might fit into this scene. And one of the things that I love about the way that this is, who filmed this, Seth? It wasn't Janusz, was it?
It was Janusz.
It was Janusz. I should have, of course.
God, it's so good. It's like one of the best looking movies I've seen in a long time.
It's gorgeous.
I don't understand how it looks so good.
So with a little bit of warping on the background and tracking, what's kind of nice is that since the characters both come from, are reacting to that camera move, even sliding in these plates without doing any positioning, if I play it anywhere, the camera move is actually consistent between the two still. I mean, within reason. So let me go ahead and add a Velociraptor to this. This plate is the same length, right?
I love what you just said. I love it. When I hear it. It's my favorite thing you say.
So we're just going to add a Velociraptor to this.
I'm going to go ahead and add a Velociraptor to this.
Just add a pretty little Velociraptor over here. And we've gotten quite adept at doing this over the last little while. How's it going over there, Seth?
It's good.
Time well spent.
My computer is moving weirdly slow right now, and I'm not really sure why, because I'm not making it do anything super complicated. So,
well, it is unusual. But everyone, do keep in mind that while we're doing this for the lols today, recomposing a shot that didn't turn out exactly the way you wanted is actually a pretty common practice in modern movies, and is something that you could do as easily as this at home. And what's kind of neat is that if you have your own footage, you probably have background plates from the same angle. Even just by accident, you'll have access to lots of other things, shots that go higher or lower. And recomposing a shot in post is really wonderful if something on set prevented you from getting the shot as you sought to film it.
Absolutely.
And even some movies that you wouldn't ever suspect had things like this done really do. David Fincher does it for a lot of his movies, so he can shoot faster, and he'll both reframe and retime actors to push their dialogue closer together while it's staying in the same master. It's amazing.
And really smart.
And a lot of people were like, this guy doesn't use VFX in his CGI in his movies, but all the time. It's just well done.
Everyone uses CGI in their movies. Congratulations, everybody. That's
absolutely. And likely if you're here, we're preaching to the choir. But if you ever run into someone saying something like, I hate how everything's CG these days, or something like that, I urge you to educate them a little bit on all the hard work that people do.
Right. Yes,
I shared some work that was done by Ghost Effects the other week, which I'm going to pull up over on this side of the screen. And I should probably turn the quality up so people can see. But during the filming of the show Shameless, something that is, like it's a character-driven show, you wouldn't suspect many things would happen. This blew my mind, and it blew Twitter's mind last week as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Ghost VFX took on this really difficult task because they were filming their final season of the show, and they ran into the problem of Chicago had COVID restrictions, and they shoot about a third of their scenes on exteriors on the Chicago location. And with the restrictions, with putting everybody's health at risk, it wasn't good for the production. And so they said, what are we going to do? Our filming schedule is reasonably in place. And, you're working in TV. It's a very fast-paced thing. And so their visual effects supervisor, who I don't even know who is, I feel bad not knowing, but decided, hey, how about we do this? Build the facade of the two houses that are shown the most often in the show. We're going to send a team who is actually local to Chicago to photo scan.
Oh, your screen just
LiDAR scan. Oh, it went. Wait, am I?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, it's back. There you go.
It's on. Here we go. So they sent a team to LiDAR scan. Oh, maybe it's not. Is Skype not a fan of me?
Apparently not.
Sharing.
Give me a sec. Let me see what's going on here. Hashi. Let me go to Skype and say grid.
We're just gonna sit here quietly while Seth does his thing, folks. Don't worry about it.
Oh God! But you should see what I'm seeing, everyone.
It's amazing. There we go.
Yes, don't know. What error here? But
so they built the facades of the buildings and just massive blue screen set.
Massive blue screen set with LiDAR backgrounds and I'm forgetting. What are the assets? There's a ton of nature assets that are available through Unreal, and who made them?
Pixel Megascans.
Yes, the Pixel Megascans as trees to populate this. And they went ahead and filmed all of the shots exactly as they would have filmed them on location. And the entire exterior for this season is all this incredibly seamless compositing job.
Unreal.
I mean, the rotoscoping involved must have been intense. The color matching is absurd. I would have never questioned it. And I'm just going to close this because I think...
So weird.
Here we are, back to this other content that I own. But anyway, I should have shut my pretty mouth and added a Velociraptor to the shot. But yeah, if you see someone dissing the visual effects industry, let them know. I'd like to see you try, but don't cause physical harm to yourself or others.
Sure.
Was that a concise message?
Yeah, the lawyers are happy.
Don't hurt people is good. Yeah. Unless it's and don't threaten to harm them unless it's in a musical and you're snapping while you go down an alleyway.
Seth, I see a very dapper gent on your side of the screen.
Yeah, I can't I can't track his tie because there's all these people in the foreground, so I'm having to
I got to do a little bit of guesstimation here.
Yeah, and it's getting tricky with it. No. That's
no. So when you can't tell the computer to track something, that's when it's the fun task of manual tracking. Everyone,
computer. Track baby driver.
I mean, look, you can't track this. There's people going across the entire lens.
That was my incredible.
Oh wait! Do this for me, Seth. Go a few. It might be the shot. It might be the next shot. The foreground gets totally blotted out for a second.
The next shot.
It's the next shot.
Let me see. Hold on. Sorry, I just want to see this happen and play. Oh, he's sitting still at the beginning. Damn it. Okay, I'm not gonna get stuck on this shot. I'll do this later. Which shot we talking about?
It's either this shot or the shot that looks very much like this, where someone crosses through the foreground, and it is clear that the color correction matte for his face, they don't blip it off when he gets clipped.
Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on.
Which will likely be caught and fixed by
this
time.
This is a trailer shot. So we're talking.
This comes out. So yeah, we are talking about.
Oh, let me just go ahead and make.
So it's right here, I think.
Oh, yep, there it is.
So yeah,
Hashi's got it.
Oh.
So his face is right there, and they've clearly done a blobby color, just shadow the matte, and it's there for a frame. I mean, it would be very impossible to notice this in motion. But if you're the grader on this, you missed it. You missed your.
Yeah, and it ruined all the amazing work you did elsewhere. Made it crap.
Yeah, never mind what I said about VFX artists. They're lazy.
It's the colorists.
The whole film is ruined for that one frame.
Oh man, this makes me so happy. I get to put a raptor here.
It does, and I should start putting some raptors in shots. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and import our head. And I think that I've made a new model of this raptor, which was made by, I can't remember now.
Please credit this because this has been with us all week.
Yes, let me.
Brought us great joy.
New window.
This is a raptor song about looking for artists who made raptors. Doobie-doop, dop, dop, doobie-doo. Let's see if this. object looked good. Why my computer is just dying today.
Oh my goodness. This is one of those days. It's pranking you, man.
Maybe I'll go quarter.
Raptor. I know this is very exciting while I search for something and you can't see. All right, this is by Blue Mesh. Here we are. From Sketchfab.
That's the person's name is Blue Mesh, or that's the name of the asset?
The asset is called, quote, Blue Jurassic World 4K free. Enjoy it. It's free. Blue Mesh. You can go download this right now and
let me tell you, we have enjoyed it.
Yes.
We have enjoyed this Blue Mesh. So please, we should leave a comment.
You should probably link to the Raptorized trailer.
That's a good idea.
Maxon's YouTube. Link
We're
to your
making
comment.
a product with it in it.
Oh, and the Red Giant Jurassic Mission Impossible trailer too. Link both of those in your comment.
Now, if you ever are fortunate enough to choose your own job, work somewhere that you will have a Raptor assets folder.
Really, you can have a Raptor assets folder anywhere.
It's true. That's true. All right, so we've got my little Raptor head right there. I'll just say okay. And now let's try to make it look good. Seth, when you go to start matching something into place, when you're placing a 3D object into a scene, what are the first several things that you try to get done?
Great question. So is the track done yet or not?
Assuming you had, just like today, we had the plates loaded already, you're just purely inserting something that is 3D, not from the scene, into the scene.
Well, with this Raptor, I tend to for shots like this where there's not any dramatic movement, I'll either look for a point in the background or foreground that I can track. I'll often, because because it's incredibly reliable, I'll use Spot Clone Tracker just on the layer, and then I'll copy that spot center keyframes and paste them onto a null object's position, and then I'll just use that as a parent for element with a group null or something like that. But if it's like a more dramatic shot, like I know shot 22, I think is the one I'm excited to do a little bit. This one I can't actually do a 3D track. I tried earlier. So but usually if I could do it, this is the kind of shot where I'd try to do a 3D track. Oh, sorry. And then I would try and position it in, I would then go about doing create solid and camera or create null and camera. Sometimes I'll use your plugin, what do you call script?
The free normalize script.
Yeah, which
it's like a script UI panel too.
It's really great. I haven't installed it since I got my new computer, but I used to use that a whole lot.
It is a lovely one. What about once you start trying to match the look? What are the things that you, if you had to pare it down, if you're trying to light a CG object to fit your scene, where do you start? And what do you think is the most important? And what do you think is too much?
So in Element lately, what I've been doing is I'll see if there's an environment in the, so let's see. My main go-tos are first to see if there is an environment that matches my current environment.
Yeah, I've got that up right now. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do.
So I'll go through and see if there's something that I could apply to it. If not, usually, if not, I'll see if there's a 360 somewhere or something that I can use. If not, I'll find something as close to it as I possibly can. And then I'll actually go about, in the render settings on Element, I open up this physical environment and lighting. Well, first thing I'll do is I'll turn on Ambient Occlusion. And with this Raptor, I tend to turn it up until the mouth feels pretty dark. And it feels convincing. It's usually probably too much. That's something I overdo all the time. But then I'll mess around with like try turning off use comp lights because I hate trying to recreate lighting in After Effects with lights. I'm not a cinematographer. I'm bad at lighting in real life, and I'm just as bad at lighting in After Effects. But there's these great like lighting, additional lighting.
Oh yes,
presets in here that I'll try and find, and I will like rotate. You can go in here and do rotation. I'll rotate it to try and match the lighting in the scene a little bit. A lot of times unless you're showing this to cinematographers, a lot of times what sells is just the feeling that they're like, one, color, but then two, just the feeling that there is like some kind of lighting happening on this model. And a lot of times that's enough to sell it. Even if light is coming from a totally different place in the scene, sometimes like 80% of the work is just getting some like shadows and stuff on the face to make it feel like it's in the space in some way. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And yeah, I agree. Like I'll simplify with a real lighting palette and all of the, especially, a Janusz Kaminski movie is going to have a ton of light sources and no, I know words for camera things. Well, he likes to have like no hood on the camera. It's open up. Big.
That's huge flares in. Like there's no. A lot of times he'll leave, like there's no map box or something. Like there's not a lot of stuff on the map box to hide the flare. Well, what's great here is first off, look at the original source. Like the original source, obviously we've got this key that's on him, and
like Morticia Adams lighting right there.
A very very there's I'm terrible. I'm not a cinematographer, but there's like pretty strong key light that's off to like 3/4, maybe even like almost like it's in between 3/4 and 90 degrees, like to his side. And then there's a faint fill light over here, so it's not total darkness. But then this pink light is like hitting him and providing this pink rim or this like red rim like around his edges. So that alone, and you can see the shadow under his chin, that key over here is up pretty high. So, and it's a pretty harsh key that's kind of simulating like, stage lights and stuff that are in this dance. And so I guess if I wanted to, I could go in and, so if I turn off this additional light, none, and I go back into my scene setup, and I'm going to look for an environment that feels like, man, while I wait for this thing to load.
Oh, good. I'm doing similar things over here. Like I'm looking at Maria and I see that there's some nice light that's hitting her from kind of up here. And I just point sample either a color on the person, if it's bright or white, that's being hit by this light as the color. And so, for example, for this first spotlight, like I could use the dress because that's likely, so if it were white balance, that's the color of the light. And then I'll let that hit my raptor. And all of this lighting advice only works for velociraptors, by the way. And then she's got a nice rim coming through the little bleachers right there. So I'm trying to put a light way in the background here. And it doesn't have to be, where there is the light in the shot, but I'm just looking at the rim light appearing on this raptor right here until it starts to match. And that's one of the fun things about working so interactively with just getting this lighting set up right, using as few steps as possible in Element before I start doing some color matching and stuff in Super Comp.
Yeah, I mean, look right here. I've already got, there's an environment that is see if I can scroll up to see it again. Man, this is going so slow. This one right here has got this kind of, bluish, daylightish light over on the left, and then this harsh red on the right. And so I can possibly use this to try and create that. And this is, again, is me going out of my way to avoid having to create After Effects lights and bring them in. But here, if I go to physical environment and I turn lighting influence down, I always get confused with this. Down to 0 means that I'm not getting any After Effects lighting, but I'm using the lighting from the environment to physically light this raptor. And I've found that if I turn up the gamma and the exposure up, forget what I did the other day and got a look that I kind of liked. Maybe I'll bring it back to 1. But what's really fun is once you bring this environment in, Then the trick is going in to this rotate environment and rotating that environment until like the light is coming from the directions that you want it to. So right now you can see that light is coming from back here and hitting him. So I wonder if I...
It's a great start.
It's on the wrong side of it. Oh, there, that.
All right, so I'm just going to use these two lights, and I like the way he's starting to look here. I'm actually going to duplicate this spotlight and then do this little trick that I think ILM. I don't remember if Weta is who. I don't remember who came up with this technique.
You say Weta? I've never heard anyone say Weta before.
I don't. It's been a long day, Seth. So Weta. Let's see. It's Wacom tablets and Weta Studios.
Yes.
There we go. All right. So I'm going to put this very bright light, but I'm going to turn the angle way down and its feather way up because I just want to get this into a. I'm not trying to make his eye glow like this, but I'm going to do this, which is kind of creepy. But if I dive into my material settings, I'm going to amplify the look of this glossiness here. Now, I think I revised our glossiness map. Yeah, I did. I'm using the old one, not the one from our #Raptor assets folder.
Sounds like you're swearing.
like a Kubert swear. What doesn't his language have a name?
Kubert?
Isn't there? Yeah, isn't it called something like Quirlish or something like that?
What is happening with the normals in this raptor? How is this light lighting this raptor's inside of his mouth?
All right, so there's some weirdness going on with the normals. I will admit that. And I'm not an expert at normals. I'm not a normal person. Now, what I'm guessing is that you see how this raptor is set up with a bright light above it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this raptor, and it looks phenomenal here.
Yeah, it does.
And we've ruined it. So what I think is going on is that I think the normals map might have been reverse engineered from either a bump or displacement map to be baked into the texture. And when it was baked, it was utilizing, you see, the normals are a little bit off here too. See, they're inverted here, they're pitting. And I think that they're supposed to be extruded. So I think that whenever these normals got baked in, they were, I don't know how normals work. Michael, can you?
Yeah, oh my God, Michael.
Could a light source and a displacement map be used to generate a normal map? And could that explain the reason why this normal map works from some angles but not from others?
No.
No.
Damn it.
That was my.
No, the normal map just indicates the normal direction, that is the z direction of a polygon. A normal map fakes it by pushing normals on a pixel by pixel basis. So you can have the normals look like they're going different directions on one polygon because the normal map says tells the render to look different ways. Different renders interpret normal maps differently. There are a couple different flavors of normal map out there. So there's a possibility that there is a Z flip somewhere, or it is reading the wrong. I shouldn't say wrong. It's wrongly reading the normal map as a different type of normal map. Would be the things that I would be looking into first.
I'll just say that's what I thought.
Well, you were so right.
So I'm just putting a little light over here until I can get, just put it right in front of the eye there, and then turn it down.
This looks
I made it too glossy. It looked better before. Dang it, I ruined it.
Oh, look!
All right.
Speaking of ruined it, look at my crap. This is garbage.
Oh, that's some beautiful garbage.
Oh, you're beautiful garbage. I love it.
It's gorgeous garbage.
All right, what are we doing here? Let's turn up that. Let's turn this down. There we go. Okay, let's try this. Oh, I didn't duplicate that? No wonder. I'm duplicating lights and making them bigger and turning them up.
Oh, wait, there's also a fall off, lighting fall off.
Okay, this is as close as I'm going to get it with these lights. Now I'm going to do the rest. Let's go ahead and add a new solid that is black. And I'm making it black because it's going to become an additive layer. So I'm going to call this my flare. And in here, I'm going to add null light factory. Null light factory has been, and look at the default null light factory for this shot. I feel like it's kind of perfect.
Pretty close. What was the name of this cinematographer's name?
Janusz Kaminski.
Well, Kaminski wants you to have 17 pieces of flare at minimum.
Too good. Too good.
Why do we let him do this to us?
All right.
It's a good day.
Let's set this blending mode to screen. And look at that. See? She's glowing positively. And light source location, let's figure out where I'm going to put that. At some point, I must have tracked this background, right? So this is probably... I'm just going to go over to that pre-comp where I did the background and just copy that null. Let me make it visible. I wonder where I tracked. I tracked somewhere way down over here. So just for ease, I'm going to create a new null. I'm going to call this my null. And then I'm going to parent that to this original null. And then I'm going to go to my flare solid. And I'm going to reveal the position of the null. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I'll reveal the position of this effect here in null light factory for the location. Alt-click on that, and then do our favorite expression. Pick whip the layer that you want it to be attached to, and then dot, lowercase 2, uppercase COMP, parentheses, open bracket, 0, 0, 0. And wait, isn't there a way that I can? Yeah, what? Did that help? Did that do anything?
We don't see you're zoomed in.
That.
What?
Did it zoom in and show an expression, or am I?
Oh, crazy? Yeah. We zoomed in and showed the expression for sure.
So we did that. So now this null, goodness gracious, is attached to this one, and so it'll move along with the camera. So if I wanted to put it right around here where this existing null lens flare is, it'll streak right across the Raptor like that. And if I were to play this back, we get the shot where the lighting is casting a flare that goes over both the dinosaur and Maria, and it kind of ties them together a little bit. I need to do some tracking on Tony here, who's not really paying attention. So let's see if the baked animation, which is this giant loop of sorts, let's offset his animation by just sliding this forward. Okay, he looks up and he looks down, and then he does that kind of look up. I feel like this gentle look up has become the animation in almost every one of these bits. It's like the character looks down and then it kind of looks up and like locks eyes for a moment. It
works really well.
I guess it's something that people do and Raptors do. So let's just put one keyframe position there. Out of curiosity, what if I keyframe this 3D object to this 2D null and then just press play out of, let's see. Not great, but better. So let's add a position null here, and let's add a position null at the very end here, and just line up that back of the head right here. I feel like that Raptor eye line is reasonable. Maybe I'll add some rotation to this head too. I always love to have some object that is really well tracked, and then on the object itself, parent it to that, so I can still do some of these little local transform bits within here and still get a good result. So I feel like just like with Muppets, to make sure that their eye contact works, you tilt them down a little bit. That I like. I like this action. And it's pretty in sync. One little moment of drift right here, but good enough for the interwebs. What do you say, fam?
Yay!
Or chillins, as it were.
We love it. LA!
And now let's make this look good. All right, we've got the flare, we've got Tony coat, we've got the element layer, let's label it Raptor. And we've got the background. I'm gonna grab all 4 of these, right click, effect, RGVFX, super comp. Oh, I did spot clone tracker instead, which is lovely, just not what I needed right now. Seth, I've been talking a lot. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Am I talking too much?
Sorry. No,
like,
I mean,
my son was telling me the other day,
you're sharing such great, interesting information, and I am like overthinking this dinosaur animation. I'll probably just comp this real quick with super comp and move on to another shot. I don't love the lighting in this on this one, but I think it might work.
Let's see. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm in super comp right now as well. I'm going to. Let's see. I'm going to see if any of these integration presets work well. I often go for foggy integration because it has the haze in there already.
Yeah.
And that's often
foggy
something
integration is the first thing I try.
that I do. And what's great about it is that it's often too much, like it is here, but it has all of the presets that I want in there. So I can go in and I can turn down the haze and or turn up the shadow amount within the haze. And so it's sort of like up here, you can see the mistiness bleeds over the Raptor's face like that. And already, like, just let me turn off super comp. It does a lot to just blend these layers into a more plausible space. And I really like that. So let's see, what else could we do? We've got some diffusion on this character, and there should be. He's in the foreground and a little bit diffuse anyway, and a little bit soft. So for the blur, I'm actually going to go to the layer itself, and that's the great thing about working in super comp. You don't have to break your workflow. You can just go right down to that layer itself, and I can add a little, let's do a fast box blur. We don't need to bring in fancy blurs to this. RIP fast blur.
Let's see. Light wrap, reverse. Sorry, keep going.
No, little 0.5 blur right there, and that'll sort of match him in a little bit better. In here, I might add a little edge blending too. And then let's call this one a day. Call that a day? It's been one, guys and gals.
You just sign off right then.
Do. She's never seen him before.
He's not Puerto Rican.
I think it's my favorite thing. She's like, "You're not Puerto Rican?" No, I'm a velociraptor.
All right, so I'm going to turn the frame offset so it's already looking a little bit closer, but I'm going to turn the playback speed down. And this technically will put the velociraptor into a stuttery animation space, but I don't mind. Oh, that's yucky. He's like jittery. He's so nervous.
I mean, she's a pretty girl.
She's very pretty, and it's his
and glowing.
First time to a dance after his stint in the Raptor pen.
I've never seen West Side Story live or any cinematic version of it, so I actually don't know anything about the story other than what I saw in this.
It's Romeo and Juliet. He's Romeo.
Oh, it's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Oh, does everyone die? That sucks.
Spoiler alert for West Side Story.
Well, it was a spoiler alert for Romeo and Juliet. Anyway, we haven't quite gotten to how far down the Romeo and Juliet road West Side Story goes.
She does not die in the movie, at least. I can't remember. She doesn't die in the original play either, right?
I don't think so. Because she needs to go tell everyone the lesson of look at what you.
Oh, sorry. I mean West Side Story original play, not Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, they're both straight up bones at the end.
Fairly French in that regard.
Trying to fix the ISO of my camera without being able to see it. So we'll just go with that. I feel like this head is a little small. Do you all agree?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel raptorly enough, and a little taller.
So, yeah, well, it looks like he's wearing his dad's. He looks like he's wearing his dad's jacket with with shoulder pads right now.
We've all been there.
I'm wearing my. No, I'm not. Let's see if I can change this environment because I hate it.
Okay.
I'm wearing my kid's dad's jacket right now.
Oh my gosh! You know what I love about this? There's real cast shadow on Maria from the footage, and it looks like it's his head.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Now, Hashi, some people were commenting on the Universe Raptor Eyes trailer about the shadow, particularly in the shot where he comes sliding in, singing into the whatever a microphone.
Killed it.
How did you do that?
Ooh, that is a good tip. Let's see, let's do one last thing on this, and then I will jump into shadow compositing, everyone.
Which means compositing secretly behind the scenes.
Shadow composites.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to freeze this frame right here with just two simple keyframes. Its playback speed is 100. And then right here, it'll be that's a little linear. So maybe I'll do something to help that out. Whatever. Not Puerto Rican. Okay, that works for me. And
every time it makes me giggle.
Because it's just literal.
I mean, in the real film, he doesn't. I mean, it's funny enough in that context, but
just like.
Even like Ansel Elgort, she thinks she would have figured it out.
What's that? A Capulet is what that is replacing. All right, Seth, where do you want these renders to live?
In the renders folder, of course.
Raptor renders.
This is not happening for me.
West Side Story renders. All right, VFX 4v1. Hey Seth, there's a plate for you. All right, we're 1 hour into the show, and we've talked a lot, and we had a lot of work done ahead of time, so I'm going to try to get some more exciting things done. Let's open up this Vanilla Raptor Sky comp that I have here. I'm going to save my changes here. Ooh, that's pretty. Got a giant window facing me right here, so I'm also just squinting at this screen. So let's see here. Where have we got? We got Vanilla Raptor Sky. We've got Far Under Raptor. We've got. Oh, you know what? It's not even this project. What was I thinking? It is
craziness, Hashi.
Was it Hashi?
Pro tip about organizing your file structure.
Do it.
Oh my gosh, you try keeping the schedule and you complete me.
I always start with the best intentions.
Dave Clip. Hashi Prep. Where'd it go? What would I have called it? Seth Side Story. Seth and I make jokes with file names, and
then we end up with
a nice
this
little
situation.
moment for us.
And then we end up having no idea what files we're looking for or at. I'm gonna add some haze. I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. It's bugging me because it was working fantastically this morning.
Dang it. Oh, they're probably in Jerry McVelociraptor. See, so naming conventions, everyone.
Jerry McVelociraptor. It's not even like close to his name. What's so great?
All right. Is it in this one? No, it's not even in here. Fine. Okay. Close project. We're doing a whole new project, everyone.
Doing a whole new project.
All right. So say you find yourself in a situation where you are needing to grab something like a famous scene from Risky Business. And it's a great shot, iconic shot. There's a really, really prominent drop shadow right here. And say you want to do some compositing of a shadow element. Well, compositing shadows is a little bit frustrating because shadows blend together, and it's kind of a cool phenomenon that they do, but it can be very frustrating when it comes to compositing. So I'm going to, just for wait, why doesn't oh, there we go. I'm just artificially turning up the exposure here so you can see a little bit better. If I were to do something like add a new solid and maybe I sample the shadow color or something like that, that's kind of a good idea for if I wanted to create like the shadow of like a ball over here or something like that. So let's imagine this basketball is over here on the wall. I would obviously feather it out a little bit on the mask. Actually, let me show you I'll jump over to the Jake in Motion thing that he was talking about the other day, which is a great old trick. But look up Jake in Motion's video called the Transform Sandwich, where I'm going to add two sets of transforms to this, and then in the middle I'm going to add a fast box blur.
I love the Transform Sandwich. I'm eating one right now.
They are delicious. Michael, you did this on our Cruella episode, right?
I do it a lot. It's a really great way. I think if I first saw it in a Kramer tutorial for the grid, where he used the mosaic effect, I think. I don't even remember. But anyway, it's a great way to take some kind of basic effects and make them more interesting. So mosaic gives you just squares the whole time. Sorry, now I'm having to talk to my mouthful because I made that sandwich joke. But what you do basically is you rotate with the transform effect, not the layer's transform controls. The transform effect, you rotate the layer, apply whatever effect you want, and then rotate it back. So visually, the layer hasn't rotated at all, but any effects you've sandwiched in between those two effects have been rotated. So you can get blurs.
So this horizontal
at any
blur.
Angle you want. Yeah, any angle you want. Mosaics at any angle you want. It's great.
And this is very lightweight, which is really cool. And you could express, like, the proper way to do this is you could expression, like for this specific sandwich, is you would link this rotation to this rotation, but just add a little negative right in front of that all. So now now watch this, I can just take the rotation and adjust which direction it's being, blurred. And like, of course, directional blur does this as well. But what's cool about this is you could do this in the middle of a layer that you already had effects going for and whatever. But one of the things we wanted to show was how to composite shadows. Now, this looks great. It looks fine. That might as well be a shadow of something in the scene. But one real problem is in normal mode, if I put it over here, it's not going to always match the shadow color. Of course, I picked a shot where this would work totally fine. But let me show you what often is the way that shadows end up looking. Say you are multiplying your shadow onto a wall. This is the amateur look that you will get a lot of the time, is a CG element has a shadow and it overlaps this other shadow, and that's not what we were hoping for.
That's not how shadows work at all.
It's true. So
shadows are not darkness. They're just a light being blocked. So you can't block the light twice.
So if you wanted to, and I feel bad that this isn't a better example to see this in, but now when I'm putting this artificial shadow here, I don't know if the quality will ever show, but you lose, it's just a solid color, and that's not ideal either. So there's a great blending mode and a short film by Seth Worley called Darker Color right here. And that blending mode, what it does is this dark brown solid will only show up if it is in front of something that is a darker color than it. So as you'll see, if I bring it down to the floor, where it's got this extra shadow right here, If this were on normal mode, that breaks the illusion. If it were on multiply, it makes everything black, and that's really weird. But if you choose darker color, now wherever this shadow is, it's just darkening a little bit into it, but you can see that some of the detail of the original shadows and the way they look are still there. And anything darker wouldn't be made more dark by a shadow. So I can take this little thing and slide it all over the wall or connect it with those shadows, and they look great. And so for the moment in the trailer where you can see this shadow, I'm just taking a duplicate of the element layer and aligning it way down here with the head. So you can, add something on top.
That's so smart.
And you can always add something like a 4-color gradient and sample the whole gradient of a shadow, or a 2-color gradient, whatever you want to do. Gradient. That covers some interesting things.
That was very useful, Hashi. Thank you, because people were asking about that. I do want to say I don't want to go too far without recognizing Frigby Chillweather's joke a while back that he's Puerto Rapton.
Puerto Rapton.
And yes, Paul Van Summerman, if you have multiple light sources, you can have a darker shadow. But that's still, it's just a light source being blocked and then a second light source being blocked. You still don't have the. I know what you mean, though. Yes, you can.
Yes, that is true. Light is a complicated thing.
Your name is Paul, right? I'm pronouncing that right, Paul.
As we work with this Janusz Kaminski footage, which is wild. Hashi prep.
And speaking of cool tips, Chad Fox says, Seth, that take the spot clone keyframe and paste it to a null to get a solid track is absolutely amazing trick that would have saved me about 2 days of manual tracking last week.
Oh, I mean, if you were watching a second ago, I tracked the collar here, like, so quick, so fast.
Spot clone tracker is so fast. It's ridiculous.
I really want us to just like put it out as a.
You don't have to use it for the spot clone. You can apply that information anywhere you want.
Yeah. So I did.
All right, Seth. Any shots that you especially don't want to tackle?
Well, there's that. I mean, I know there's the bleachers for a while, but there's that other bleacher shot. But then also.
This kiss moment, right?
Yeah, it's the kiss moment. We're featuring the band Kiss, where Gene Simmons enters West Side Story, and I think that any of the bleacher shots I don't really want to touch. The rest of them aren't too scary.
All right, I'll stick with this.
I would love to see how you do this fence shot. Like,
all right. Let's get into that.
I do want to give you. I know we're playing the joke here about having found this footage, but I really want to point out that Hashi, you prepped this shot. I did nothing. How did you go? Did you just mask out these? This fence?
Yeah, I knew that I needed a foreground element of
did you do it with a grid?
This grid, and at first, I was very scared because I looked at. Let me go ahead and bring in. Let's do this one from scratch, just for learning purposes. Everybody, plates. This one didn't change, right? This is still
right. Didn't change.
Same length. Great. Okay, so we'll create a new comp from our plate. We'll move it up here, and I'm going to call it the. Let's see, plate 9 demo. All right, so this was a ridiculous shot, and there's a lot to do to try to erase someone behind a fence, because you've got to basically preserve the fence in front of them. And so I went with a very silly solution, which was I did a little point track of this high contrast point way over here and this high contrast point over here. And I got just a really nice 2D track of something right there. And then I thought to myself, well, instead of trying to draw a bunch of little masks that are here and unwieldy later, what if I created a new solid that was maybe square? So let's make it 1,000 by 1,000 like this, and then added the grid effect. And now when I add the grid effect, I can kind of take a look at that and maybe add some power pin. And I could have done this with Kingpin Tracker too. I didn't even think of that. And let's just do a little bit of aligning. I don't remember what the numbers end up working out to, how many lines there are on this grid. But I'm just going to take this and kind of line it up in roughly the perspective of this shot, if I can. So the perspective of the shot is something like that. And if I take this grid that I've power pinned into place and attach it to that null, I can play through, and it looks pretty locked there, which is great. So I did actually just kind of go through and find, I'll boost the contrast on this too. I don't know if it helps the show, but it helps me because my room is very bright right now, and this is a very dark shot. I want to look for the number of grid lines there are. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh. This shot, I'm sorry. Just
it is 10.
Dropping the raptor in here. This shot makes me laugh so much.
There's a wall behind me. I haven't had a wall behind me in a long time.
Oh no. Do you have a concussion? Are you okay?
I'm back. Probably fine. If I start talking, preferring mocha over.
I will say that someone says that we need to collect our thoughts and choose our words before we open our mouth and then export our thoughts as speech. They say that this live video is appalling, broken sentences, half-finished sentences, random tangents. Does no one know how to talk in coherent sentences anymore? That's their review of our show.
Where is this comment?
I couldn't have summed it up better.
I know. Totally on point.
It's like they don't know our brand of this show.
I think they perfectly illustrate.
Can we just take that and just put "we guarantee" that full statement?
Can we put it on a mug
and use it?
T-shirts.
Yeah, I would like to put it on a mug and a T-shirt, in which we will do now. Done. There might be mugs coming out.
That shot looks so
Tom,
good.
by the way. So, what?
Sorry. I just keep giggling at that shot. Just seeing raptors in places where raptors shouldn't be, it's so funny still.
Because
you'd think I would be over it by now after seeing raptors everywhere. It's still funny.
And once again, it's not even just the raptor that's funny. It's this actor who plays Griff, who, by the way, this is my favorite actor in the whole movie. If you watch the movie, I think he's absolutely fantastic in this movie. Actually, I don't know if he's my favorite. The women in this movie are amazing too. So basically everyone in this movie, but he's awesome, and he looks like Tom Holland in the shot. But he's performing his ass off opposite this raptor that's going to kill him at any moment. Are they fighting over a gun?
I love that the raptor's like, I've got a gun. I'm not afraid to use it. Ignore these teeth. Everything about this.
I don't want to fight you. Happy. It's so fantastic.
I think I'm going to have his mouth open. Yeah. Oh, you know what I should have done, Hash? I should have done that. I'm going to do that cool trick you showed me. So I'm actually going to delete this world position pass that I did. And I'm going to take element and this null and this group null. I might regret this, but I'm going to pre-compose them and call it element. And make sure that, okay, it's all still there. So Hashi showed me this. I think you did this on the show. I'm not sure. Where you went in, let's open up Essential Graphics and select element.
Oh, yes.
And you went to output. But real quick, I'm going to show, I'm using a world position because in the shot, you see how his mouth is going to go in front of his clothes, but his neck needs to stay behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating a world position pass, an element which looks a little something like this. And it's just like this depth map that it creates. And you can actually go in and create. So normally what I was doing, I was duplicating element in my comp, using it as a luminance mat on the clothes layer to remove any part of the closed layer where his mouth is, but keep it in front of the element layer so it can stay in front of the neck. I am going to go in here and I can say create a world. So I can adjust the world position pass here, like the location of the luminance mat, etc., yada yada. But what's really useful is creating a world position null. And then it created this null that the world position pass will, let me get rid of this. I don't need this window anymore. It will, the world position will follow this null. And if I parent this to my group null that is parenting the raptor, I can, holding down Shift while parenting, it will parent that null. It will parent. It will become the child of this group null. But it will also, while holding Shift, it will also copy first all the transformation properties of that group null. It'll put it right where that group null is, and then parent itself to it. So now in Element, I can go in
cool.
and I can change the matte expansion and turn the feathering down, and ensure that his mouth is visible, but his neck is not. And then this is the fun part. Going to world position, pass, going to show, I'm going to add this property to essential graphics. And now if I go in here, I have this little thing, this little, area under my element pre-comp. I'm going to first off put this behind the body. So it's behind the body layer. And
You're effectively simulating depth compositing, which is really cool. You are doing depth compositing.
Yeah.
But...
Well, so I'm going to duplicate element twice, and I'm going to call this one world, and this one stays element. On the world, I'm going to keep it as showing the world position pass, but on elements, I'm going to set that essential graphics setting to show the composite, and then let me get rid of this essential graphics window. I don't know why this is still showing up for me. I am going to, so we can see it's behind the thing. I'm going to go to this body null on set matte. I'm going to say, look at the world and invert it from the luminance, and boom. Now his neck is behind the collar and his mouth is in front of the body. And
brilliant. Because that's the compositing challenge that I hate dealing with.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like when it's working, it just works and it's correct. So there's nothing to observe about it. But when it's wrong, it's very wrong.
Very wrong. So anyway, that's how we do it.
So jittery. I'm going to try turning up reduce chatter here. Then I'm going to press freeze. And I'm just going to trust that this freeze is going to be fine. I'm just going to, for this kiss scene, I'm going to have to do something similar to my previous spacing them apart for the proper framing of a raptor. So I'm isolating just this front collar and shoulder that I think would be in front of our raptor. Oopsie. And let that bake in the background, or let that freeze. It's the opposite of baking. Freeze. Though technically all solids are just frozen because their liquid form would be at a higher temperature.
Why are you trying? You're just like giving me all the words you possibly can. I gotta make some more drops. I only have those 3. We need some more raptors in here.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we definitely need a raptor scream or click or something.
So, what else can I do here?
Speaking of raptor noises, the vocalization you chose for the trailer, where he goes after you complete burst in and goes "you completely," and then just stares, then that kind of clicky guttural noise is just.
I had layer 2. I had done the clicky guttural thing and the and like a the dolphin sound or the seal sound or whatever, and I accidentally muted the seal layer, and it became the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
That's the miracle of editing. Sometimes it's just those fun. Yeah, they're accidents, but they're also they wouldn't have ended up there without some intention.
I don't know if people realize that. I wonder if people avoided our show at all because they're like, I don't care about West Side Story. So real quick, I'm gonna spit out this frame here and post it on Twitter just to let people know like the kind of effects that were invisible effects from West Side Story they may not have been familiar with.
Yeah, and everyone watching, you can all dare your friends to come join today.
Yeah, dare them.
All right.
Just promise them that the link to this show is not a link to a famous music video starring Mr. Astley.
Mr. Whatley?
Mr. Astley.
Astley.
Mr. Astley, that's I feel like it's someone who like crashed the Titanic or something like that, or who's,
What?
All right, I'm just going to try something. I'm just going to add a solid that's about the
Sorry,
color
I'm writing a fiction. I'm writing a historically based fiction in my head where Mr. Astley and Frigby Chillweather hang out.
on the Titanic, obviously.
Obviously.
All right, this is going to be some low quality work right here. I'm just going to do two masks on 2 keyframes on this mask right here, and that's going to be his whole arm and shoulder. And you're all going to buy it. All right, so what I've done is I'm going to now create a sandwich out of this shoulder with an arm going up there, and then this foreground collar element, which I'm going to move not to where it exists in the real shot, but a little bit farther back so I can have more space for raptor head. And now I've got to paint out this bleacher in the background here. And I don't think that'll be too hard because it's a very blurry shape. I could either paint it or I could quickly see if my bleacher's image had any section of itself that looks like that. Hey, look what we got. Let's pre-compose this really quickly and just use the little tool right here and just select I don't know. I should select more than I think I need. And composition crop comp to region of interest. And then while we're in here, just so we don't have to do too confusing transforms, I'm going to add an adjustment layer, and this is always fun to do. We add CC power pin, and then we turn off the effect, and now you find kind of a square within here. Like the lens is so wide, so you're getting a lot of curvature anyway, but I'm just going to draw something that would fit in perspective in there, right? And then I'm going to check unstretch, and now I'm going to turn power pin back on. And now this is basically tried to square up the image below it. And now I can bring it into this shot right here. Where did I place that? 17v2.
I love this little trick that it's always been there, and I always forget, where I can lock the composition window and I can go into this element pre-comp.
Oh, yes.
And work in it and see the results in the final main comp. So this is the simple things in life.
It is. So look at this. This is pretty similar to what's back here behind him, and
look at that.
That's all I need. So I'll just draw a little thing like that. Let's feather that business out, and we could
feather that business out.
Let's go ahead and extend this little stupid mask right here. So actually, no, that's gonna give me trouble later, right? So let's do one of those custom mask things on this where we, there's an annoying thing there. The process of painting out, y'all, is very satisfying once you get it done. So something like that is pretty close. It's a little bit darker, so instead of doing anything fancy, I'm just going to throw some brightness and contrast on it and brighten it up. That works for me. Work for you all?
Works for me.
Position, scale. There's a slow zoom in, right?
Sure.
Oh, barely perceptible though. And let's add some keyframes to the mask. I'm in desperate mode right now, Seth. I don't know why. I just want to get through these. That's enough. That's good enough, right?
How many effect shots are in this trailer?
Only 20?
Yeah, 20-ish.
Well, that's not so bad.
But what's cool about, let's see, what was that first shot that we finished? We finished shot 4, right? So let's just go to shot 4, and I'm going to grab all of these lights, the group null, the null. I'm going to grab all of this stuff. Smash and grab everything all the way down through the Raptor, ignoring the Tony coat, and let's copy that all over to shot 17 V2. Where did I stick that? Let's move that all the way back up to our comps folder. Organization, everybody. Let's paste them in here. And look, I'm done.
Did it.
I'm not done, but I'm close. Let's stretch
gosh.
all those out to match this. And we've got a raptor right here. Let's put it down behind the shoulder. Let's turn. Let's see this. The null is over here. Let's put it over here instead. And now let's grab this null, delete all of their position keyframes, and just rotate this. Yeah. Now, I don't know how scale-wise, I don't know. This is rough. This raptor head is long, and I feel like this is as small as I can make it plausibly the raptor, right?
Yeah, wow, that
so we've got an issue to her face. All right, so let's move this null. I can scale it up, it doesn't matter, but it's easier to grab that way. Maybe I'll put it down here in between the two of them. And I can figure out later where that flare is that goes between them. But if I played this through, this raptor is going to be way too close, right? You know what? I feel like we need some more custom animation on this raptor. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's pop open cinema for
freaking normals are driving
animation.
These freaking normals are driving me insane. It's so frustrating.
Just for whatever shot you're in, are you getting two different sections of normals competing?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just know that like, it's like I put the light on the other side of his face and suddenly like it's dark, but he's got all these like little glistens on one side that are, I wonder if I just turn the glossiness on him. Turn off the glossiness.
Whoops. Just reopen cinema there. What did I do? Let's open up the... No, what do I want to open up? I want to open up my Raptor assets.
Raptor assets.
Raptor head scream. No, I just want the default one. Where's what I did? It's very exciting to everyone watching.
Very exciting, especially while
file system navigation.
Hey, does anyone have any questions for the Setherson or me having to do with compositing or just life questions in general?
Oh yeah, we love giving personal life advice.
Buy it. Don't ask your wife.
Don't ask your husband.
Yes.
Just
what are we talking about? A little ET?
Consume. Hey.
I actually did ask my wife and she said yes.
I am still feeling that throwing my head back into the wall. My God.
Dude, how hard did you hit it? I didn't realize.
It was pretty hard. It was, I've had nothing behind me for a while.
Oh no, man. Are you going to be okay?
I do not believe I am concussed.
Oh, good Lord.
No one who's concussed.
That's exactly what would happen right now. You know what? That's not bad right there. It's pretty dark. Kind of works.
It's so good.
I think that's pretty flawless, man.
I don't know. I do still want to go in and just see if I like invert the.
I forget what I'm doing though. Okay, let's do this.
Anyone know what convert bump means?
I don't know.
It comforts me when you don't know things, Hash, because you know everything.
That's better.
Does that look better to you?
I tried it and it seems like it's trying to. See, I feel like what we have is a normal map, and so converting a bump map would be more like if it were, the relief pattern on the Raptor and you were converting it into a normal map, but that's not what's happening. So I'm very confused.
Michael, you said that looks better. It looks better to you?
We are fighting the normals here, everyone.
I did say that.
Okay, good. Then I'll stick with it. Whoa!
Oops. You know what? I haven't renamed these ones. Let me look up a few good Raptors. Is this the one where he's talking
Public
yet?
service announcement, everybody. A Few Good Men. Fantastic movie.
Have not seen it.
Holds up. Great cast. It's Aaron Sorkin's script based on his play, and it's just utterly fantastic.
All right. So I'm going to do a custom getting ready for a kiss moment here. So
okay.
If you do download this amazing...
Is this personal advice?
This is. So it's all in the jaw. So I'm going to try to find what... These are all just labeled bone and then a number. So like bone 1 through, I don't know. And it does make it a little bit difficult to figure out exactly what the best way to animate this rig is. So let me clear all keyframes to begin with. Let's say window, dope sheet. What else do we got? I thought I cleared them all already. Okay, great. Let's turn on keyframing for this property and for this property. I am not an animator. How long is this shot? Anyone remember? 91 frames. Perfect. Okay, so over the course of these 91 frames, this is a pretty straightforward looking raptor, but I'm going to try to start angling the neck down a little bit at that joint, a little bit more at this joint, a little bit more of a solemn like look down and forward, match the eyes, down. I think that's kind of nice. And then I don't know if the head should be starting to turn for a kiss. Yeah, I think it should. Like that. Great. So this is going to be really straightforward. I'm just going to set... Oh, I didn't... I thought I turned on auto key. I didn't. What is auto key?
What is auto key?
Yeah.
Auto key, Control F9 if you're looking for the keyboard shortcut.
I was asking for a general.
Auto keying is anytime you change a parameter, it adds a keyframe for that parameter at that point in time. It will bite you if you don't turn it on when you think you have, or if you have, if you think it's off, and it is not. It can bite you both ways. But it gives you a very handy indication of whether or not it's on by making the frame around the viewport red, like red as in recording, to let you know that you're in automatic keyframing mode.
It's true. So just like a raptor can bite you both ways. From the two on the side, you didn't even know were there.
Didn't even know we're there.
All right. So this raptor is going to bow a little bit. And maybe turn the head a little bit over this amount of time. That looks like a good amount of like going in for the kiss. What do you think? Yeah, like that?
Chad, do you have opinions?
Excellent. So, but I am going to do one thing which I only recently learned about, and I'm such a noob. That's what the cool people say, right? When they're...
No.
Outlogging pictures, the best way to do coloring is to use Magic Bullet Looks and Magic Bullet Colorista and Magic Bullet inside whatever host inside After Effects. That way you don't have to jump to something else. Otherwise, export a lossless format in whatever color space is necessary, and then import that into your coloring software of choice. In which you should also still be using
that into your color software of choice.
Magic Bullet, because Magic Bullet works in Resolve as well.
All right, I'm going to rename these just for everyone's benefit. Not that you're looking at the naming convention of this stuff, but these were confusing. So I'm trying to do like a neck 3, 2, 1 head. And so I kind of know what those are. And I'm going to add vibrate tag. And I didn't know about these, which is stupid of me not to have known. But they are under animation tag on any property like this. Animation tag, vibrate, that might be off screen for y'all. But on the vibrate tag, you can come down here and it's like a wiggle expression in a way. So I can enable some kind of rotation. Whoops. I'll bet the takes are locked. One moment. Yep, they're locked because this is a pre-animated model. So if you run into that error, you go over to your takes window and unlock things. So the override locks aren't on anymore. And now I can enable rotation. Vibrating. So right now, the default rotation vibrate is amplitude of 30 in the, like this, a bit of a saying no shake like that. So I don't want that. So I'm going to zero that out, but I want the frequency to be maybe 0.3, and I'm going to add just a teeny bit of like 5 degrees of jitter to this. And let me see what that looks like. So it's subtle, but it's giving the Raptor just a little bit of life in the head right here. And I can control click this same vibrate tag to all of the neck bones above it like that. So all of this bobbing and like kind of looking around like that is all because of the vibrate tag. And what's kind of cool is that right now, because I just duplicated them, they're all on the same random seed, which works really great if you're doing something that is supposed to curl. So like a tongue or an arm or a leaf or something like that you want to curl. You could use the same vibrate tag on all the different joints, and so it'll look like it curls up. But if you want to change those, you just click on the vibrate tag and you can change the seed to something different. So I'm going to change the head to a slightly different seed than the neck. That way the head's doing its own thing and the neck is doing its own thing. But the neck vibrates are related, but the head one is on its own. And I'm going to turn the amounts down because it's getting a little much now with that neck amplification. So let's turn these all down to 2, down to 2, down to 2. And what I'm hoping I get is just a little bit of not over animating, keeping it too alive, because that's another classic mistake, because that things are actually quite still a lot of the time. So I've gone too far. Let's change this to like that much. Dead air.
I actually made a film in high school called Dead Air.
Ooh.
Yeah, took place in a TV broadcasting class, and we all played ourselves. Shout out to co-writer Ryan DeGiorgi, who writes for Jackbox Games. So if you've played Jackbox Party Pack, you've played my friend Ryan's amazing games. All right, I'm now just like I'm getting greedy with this Raptor. Is that good enough?
It's good. Now? It's fantastic enough. It's perfect.
All right.
I'm going to export this as an OBJ sequence right here. And what do I want? I want the animation enabled. So I'm going to say all animated frames at 0 through frame 95. And I'm going to say OK. And I'll put these in our Raptor assets folder. Raptor assets. And we'll make a new folder called sequence. Kiss, maybe.
Kisses.
Kiss. All right. And down here at the bottom is where you can see all of those objects getting saved one at a time. Probably pretty small. But let's jump back into After Effects. And now if I go into my scene set up for element, I think by the time that this opens up, we'll probably be caught up. And let's just make this a little bigger so you all can see. And I'll right click and say replace model with Raptor assets. 3D sequence kiss. We'll select that first one, and I think it came in. All right, let's say OK. And now let's go to our group 1 particle look baked animation. I'm going to make sure that there's a 100% playback speed the whole time and no frame offset, because I made this specifically for this moment. Okay, so now, gosh, this is such a tight shot. And I'm going to admit right now I'm not willing to reframe it much.
No, it looks, I don't know. That's fun.
So let's see if this is the starting position for
so
this
intimate.
Animation.
It's the most intimate thing I've ever seen from a Raptor.
It's going to be this high here, and now by the end, it's so perfect.
Oh my gosh! By the way, I love how if you watch the Raptor Eyes video, the way that you had when he goes in to kiss Nicole Kidman from Far and Away, right before it cuts, his mouth starts to open like he's going in for an open mouth kiss.
Oh my God, it's so gross. All right, now I don't remember what. Okay, so the actor did totally have a rim.
By the way, real quick, if people want to watch me do the spot clone trick, I drop spot clone on. I'm going to focus it right here on his breast, and I'm going to hit play for track, and it's going to track. Whoa, it's kind of fun because it plays only that layer.
That's good.
And it tracked fantastically. I'm actually going to go ahead and say also, hey, track the scale, position and scale for me. And let's track it again. And I know I'm getting crazy by asking it to do scale as well, but let's see if it worked. And now what I can do is I'll hit U, and you see I've got all of these keyframes, and I'll just create a new null object. Or I'll do it with my Stream Deck. Here we go. Boom, new null object. And position. And I'm going to copy the spot center, paste it onto the null position, and now that null moves with his bosom.
Gorgie Locks and the Three Bears.
Let's see. Maybe I can just parent scale, spot size.
All right. I'm just going to add a bit of a little rim light, kind of match that. The feel of this scene. Let's turn. Gosh, it's really turned up high. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's bring this on back a little bit. Bring this up. Whoa. This needs to be much wider. Wider, yeah, like here we go. Okay, so let's just do some low rent stuff and get this working. All right. So we've got the flare. I'm just going with one flare way back here. I could also do a secondary one maybe. And for this one, let's duplicate this, but we'll call it 002. And this was a little bit of a stupid way. I could do this with lights too, but I'm using the lights for my element layer, and so everything's going to get greedy. I don't remember, if you make a light and adjustment layer, does that make it ignored by element but usable by null?
I don't know. I've never made
I don't remember who told me that. And they were like, oh yeah, just make, if you want a light in there, but it's messing up your 3D effects, you make them adjustment layers and then they don't affect. Yes. No, you see, those are still affecting that. So I don't know. But I didn't know you could make a light and adjustment layer. So I think that there's something there. I'm just adding a second flare here. And we'll put this, let's edit this one's expression to the 002. Do I have to have seen 002?
Every time you say 002, I just think, we will, 002.
You know what? That's, there's like, everybody has like go-to songs, I think, for like if you hear a thing in a syllable and you sing it as a song. A big one for me is for no reason the That's So Raven song. If it's 4 syllables, I will sing it to the tune of That's So Raven. and that you have my word. That's the Whirly promise.
I have that a bit with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the like commercial break. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, wait. What was that melody? I don't know that melody.
That's the we're going to ad break one. Because there's the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then there was the we're going to an ad break, but we'll be back, which is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, it's a good one. Because we're comping in Velociraptors. Heroes from the... Oh, my God.
Heroes from Pangea. Nope, I don't like it.
We'll figure it out. We'll workshop it. Okay. We'll get back to you guys next week. His body is a messed up piece of work. But this kiss... I can taste it.
This kiss.
It's indescribable.
It's criminal.
Is his head too big
criminal.
here, guys?
Sorry, what? What did you say there?
Is his head too big here?
No. His neck is.
I can't help how big his neck is.
I'm just kidding. I think it's split the difference between those two. Yeah, it's not. It needs to be bigger.
So 55 right there.
Yeah, every VFX supervisor always says split the difference. So I figured I'd step into that role today.
I saw someone, a production designer, art designer was talking about what they do for a living, and they were like, I pick up a spoon when someone tells me to move it left and then right and then back to where it was again, and they tell me that's perfect.
That is phenomenal. All right. So when we get to this moment right here, when there's a little bit of overlap
that
here,
rim light looks amazing, by the way, Hash.
I love this rim light and what it's doing for the shot. But
rim lights make dinosaurs look better regardless. We live at the very first Jurassic Park.
They absolutely do. And I'm going to modify this just a little bit.
It is, right?
So check this out. I'm going to go into Element. I'm going to add a new object here. And actually, I'm going to add a whole new group. I'm going to call it Group 2, or assign it as Group 2. And let's just add what's something kind of wacky shaped from our included kind of stuff. Organic that. Perfect. I'm adding this thing, and I'll show you why. I'm going to say okay, and it's going to put this little rock right there on the right there on the nose. But no, this will actually serve another purpose. If I go to Group 2 and I say create, we'll have a nice little null right here. And this is a good tip, everyone, I promise. So check this out. I'm going to scale this up to about the size of her face, and I'm just going to rotate it around and see if there's a spot that looks a little bit like a nose or some lips and stuff. I'm so sorry to reduce your beauty to this obscure rock shape that I can find. But what's cool about this object in the scene is that if I, let me try to find a slightly different angle. If I move it here, look at the rim light on the raptor. It gets obscured, right? Just like a raptor would if it got close enough to kiss right here. So now if I place this right here, I'm going to go into my scene setup, and I'm going to go to that object. And on its material properties, I'm just going to say matte shadow. Check that box. And I'm also going to uncheck the receive shadow button right there. And then I'll just say AO, ignore the ambient occlusion, and say OK. Oh, I did Raptor. I'm sorry, Raptor. How many of you were ahead of me on that one? It was going to be such a good tip. What have I done? All right, I meant to do this one. I meant to say, don't receive shadows, but do cast shadows, and check that matte shadow box so it's not a visible object. And I'll say, okay. And now look at this interactivity. So now we've got the rim on the Raptor because they're separate, right? But as the Raptor leans in closer, you'll start to see that it's getting a shadow from getting closer to her right there. See? And now it's still getting too much rim over here when it overlaps. So I'll go to this last frame, and now I have an invisible object that if I scale like up in the Y direction, you can see it's putting more shadow on.
Interactive lighting is a great way to make a digital thing feel like it's actually in the shot.
Mm-hmm. So let's move this back in space. Let's move it. I've got to scale it up a little bit more too. I think this is smaller than I thought based on the perspective. There we go. And I want to get some of the shadow on the, there we go, on the mouth and stuff. Because you see right here, like that should be starting to go into shadow because of her. And I can even cheat that a little bit by adding a keyframe or something like that right here. And then I'll just pull it back out of the way because that rim looks so good. And you really want the feel of that proximity to happen here. And I buy the shadow on her being the Raptors. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
I'm going to call this one done for now. I'm going to go into Element and turn up my, go to the output settings and turn the multi-sampling maybe to 32 and my ambient occlusion. Oh, I didn't even turn on ambient occlusion on this. What was I thinking?
What were you thinking?
It's that concussion, everyone. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, don't say that.
All right, so let's turn on the ambient occlusion. And oh, God, and I messed myself up because I told it to ignore ambient occlusion earlier. Okay, this rock is supposed to ignore ambient occlusion, and this raptor head is not. Okay, boom. Now it's got some dark creases in the mouth. That's much better. Yeah, so look at the difference between this and a bit of ambient occlusion, because you know that mouth would be shadowed. And now as it gets closer, little interactive shadow from her. Great. I love it. Save and render. I'm turning into film theory. Render that right here for you. What are we doing? We are at time, everybody.
Oh, wow. Well,
man, time flies when you're kissing raptors.
Kissing raptors.
It's so true. Well,
Ooh,
what the living hell did we learn today?
is lovely, Seth. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do the lighting in that one?
I'm going to try and mimic this. Like he's got that, once again, that key over here on the right, but he's got...
It's very staged. Like there's barely...
Yeah.
It's amazing that he's in front of that giant red sign and everything.
There's no red spill on him, I know. Well, there's wrap, but there's
arguably,
no spill.
But like, yeah.
It's right here. He's got spill on the back of him. But he's getting hit so hard with that front key, that key light, that I just said key light. Like key light. As I could.
Key.
I was just watching this like, wow, that renders really good. This is that. I matched that really nicely, but then I remembered that that's what I'm trying to do. Well, guys, good Lord. Today was
my goodness. How do we bring it home? Let's see. What do we got here? First of all, tell all your friends about Raptorize, the new plugin available from Red Giant, and yes. but out of respect, let's not be sharing that with Tom Cruise. Let's not at him and tag him in it.
Definitely don't directly share it with Tom Cruise. And definitely have a great day and a great weekend and a great week even.
Absolutely. It's the start of April, we're creeping toward spring and all that exciting stuff.
Hashi, congratulations on your freaking house. And
thank you so much. We are tremendously excited and, dare I say, concussed to be here.
I was about to say, please watch your head consistently. And
yeah, see, the wall it's this far back. So that was a poor judgment call there.
I'm going to go back and replay that next week when we're having our
Just make it a drop for us.
During the in memoriam sequence where we're remembering Hashi and everything he's done for us. And everyone, I just want to say April Fools. Have a wonderfully foolish April Fool's Day and a wonderful weekend. And we will see you next week.
Next week, everybody. Animation Part 2.
I'm going to leave you with this Raptor video. Goodbye. Introducing Universe Raptor Eyes, a new addition to Universe's powerful set of tools for editing and motion design. With Universe Raptor Eyes, you can easily turn your footage of Tom Cruise into footage of a velociraptor in seconds. Whether engaged in an intimate moment between two characters or scaling the world's tallest building, with powerful facial performance matching, customizable textures, controls over evolution, and hair length, Tom Cruise will never not be a velociraptor again. Now we know what you're thinking. In the wrong hands, couldn't a tool this powerful be used to spread misinformation? We thought so too, and that's why we built Universe Raptor Eyes with our patented cruise control engine, allowing Universe Raptor Eyes to intelligently detect if it's being applied to footage of anyone other than Tom Cruise. If so, the police in your jurisdiction are notified so they can arrest you. Once you try Universe Raptor Eyes, you'll be saying, Universe Raptor Eyes.